Hey guys, and welcome back to our channel. So we're in my kitchen today beside all of these dahlia tubers that I have potted up, because today we're going to be talking about dahlias and how to take cuttings from your dahlia tubers to increase your stock of dahlias. When I first started growing dahlias, there was a lot about these flowers that I didn't understand. But like a lot of you, I'm sure, it only took one season of me growing dahlias for me to become completely hooked on them. Dahlias, they are beautiful, they're productive plants, and the fact that they come in so many different, like, unique colors and shapes and sizes, I think is part of the reason why they appeal to so many people. Now, I will say that the one downside to dahlias is that they can be a bit of an investment initially, especially if you're wanting to grow them on a larger scale. You know, on average, dahlias can cost anywhere between $8 and $12 per tuber. And some varieties, well, they can cost as much as $20 to $25 for a single tuber. My first year of gardening, I grew just 4 dahlia plants. I remember I spent a whopping $32 on those tubers. At the time, that seemed like one heck of an investment, especially considering that a packet of seeds, you know, which can easily grow 100 plants, well, that only cost a couple of dollars. After that first growing season, I remember wanting to increase the scale at which I was growing dahlias. But I didn't have the patience to wait multiple years for my dahlias to multiply naturally, nor did I have the money to invest in hundreds of tubers. And so what I did instead was I increased my stock of dahlias by taking cuttings of them during the winter months. And that's what I want to show you how to do today in this video. Taking dahlia cuttings is a quick, easy, and inexpensive way to increase the number of dahlias that you're able to grow in your garden. Not only will a single cutting grow into a fully mature dahlia plant in just one season, but also that cutting will produce dahlia tubers, which you can dig and store at the end of the season to multiply your stock. So all you're going to need for this project is some dahlia tubers. You're going to need some rooting hormone. You're going to need a scalpel or some sort of sharp instrument to actually take the cuttings from. And then I also use a heat mat to encourage root development. And then I have a tray here with potting mix. So I'm actually going to place the cuttings in, and this is where they're going to run. So this is just a standard 50 cell tray, and it works great. Now, most of all these supplies are things that I get off of Amazon, and I'll link them below in the description box. Now, I divide my dahlia tubers in the winter. These are the clumps of dahlias which I dig from my garden in the fall. I usually start this project mid-January, and then I pot up and bring whichever varieties I'd like more of into my kitchen and allow them time to wake up. Depending on the variety, this process, it can take anywhere between 2 and 6 weeks. As you can see here, each of the dahlia tubers I have potted up, I bury them just enough to still leave the neck exposed because I'm watching for these sprouts to form. I do periodically water my potted dahlia tubers, but just enough to keep the soil moist. Like, I don't want to overwater my tubers, which could cause them to rot. What I'm really looking for is a sprout that's 3 to 4 inches long, and once it reaches that length, that's when I'm actually going to take my scalpel, and that's when I'm going to cut the sprout. Now I'm going to cut it right at the base where it meets the dahlia tuber. I'm not going to cut into the tuber, but I still want to cut it as close as possible. So now, once I have these cuttings, I'm actually going to remove the lower leaves from the cutting itself. So I'm simply going to take the cutting, and dip it in my rooting hormone, and then place inside my tray. And of course, I'm going to be sure to label the variety so that I know what variety that cutting actually is. Now, this entire tray I'm going to place on top of my heat mat, and they're going to go under my artificial LED lights I have on the shelf next to me. I have found best success with my cuttings taking root when I allow my cuttings to have at least 14 hours of light. So this whole entire tray is going to go on the heat mat underneath the LED lights. And in about 10 to 12 days is when I'm going to notice roots starting to form. So here's some cuttings that I've taken previously. And as you can see, they have a nice healthy root system, and that's what we're actually looking for. So I will go ahead and after a week or two we'll pot this dahlia cutting up into a larger pot, giving it a little bit more room to form roots. And then once all danger of frost has passed, I will actually plant these guys out into the garden come spring. They will be productive plants just like any of the other dahlia tubers that I will plant into my garden. I will dig these guys up again in the fall. They will produce a dahlia clump for me that I will then again store. And I will repeat this process all over again come next winter. So there you have it. Give this process a try and see how it goes. If you have questions, leave them in the comments below and I'll be sure to answer them. Thank you so much for tuning in. Now if you found this information helpful, I'd love it if you give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. And as always, I will see you in the next video.